Blake says, hook 'em Wednesday after big wins across the UT programs to hit two of them here. Texas baseball got another win, big win over St. John's 15-4. But catch the big focus last night was in Lubbock, where Texas absolutely thrashed Texas Tech. Last time they're probably ever going to play in that barn in Lubbock. Texas went out in a big way.
It was such a Texas versus Texas Tech kind of game. And to be completely transparent, it was also very much a Texas Tech versus Texas A&M kind of game. There are competitions, and regardless of the sport, that when they take place, you're reminded of a lot of things. And last night, big performance by Texas. That first half, the great thing about that first half is it wasn't just a Max Asmus and Dylan Dessou combo, right? It wasn't like those two guys combined for 30 points in the first half, and that's why Texas put together one of the best first halves of the season. It was the entire team. Texas got like 35 points from its bench last night and might have had more had Brock Cunningham not
exited with 10 minutes.
Had he not gone Jeff Ketchum. Look, here's the thing that I haven't said out loud. Because the last time I said this about Brock, people got mad at me.
Uh-oh, here we go.
But I'm a 5'10" version of Brock Cunningham with a little bit better handles when I was in my prime. But believe me, if any of you have ever been in Austin and played at Shipe Park, one of the unique things about Shipe is that up against the court is a cement wall. It's a unique situation.
It is.
On one side, there's all the room in the world to run out of bounds. On the other side, there's a short cement wall that's about 2.5 feet tall. And then there's an even bigger like cement and stuff behind it, right? Many a times have I played basketball at Shipe where I've been going for a loose ball. Someone else has been going for a loose ball. And I've done exactly what Brock Cunningham did last night. I've decided I'm not getting the ball, but you know what I can get? I can get my shoulder into that dude's body, and, if he goes flying into the cement, so be it. That's what Brock did to that dude from Texas Tech last night. I'm not mad about it. It's the last time those two teams are ever going to play. And if Brock Cunningham, before the game, said in an interview right here on House Divided, guys, it's my 6th year. We've been to Texas Tech every single one of my 6 years. But not only is this my last chance to play in Lubbock, and oh, by the way, do you remember what they did to us when we came in on the buses? Chris Beard's first season? I do. But we're never going to play Tech again. This is over with. If we're up by 20 with 10 minutes to go, I might start a riot. If he said that yesterday on our show, we all would have went, totally understand, Brock.
Yeah.
If by some chance you're up by 20 with 10 minutes to go and you just can't help yourself and you channel your inner Bill Laimbeer / Rick Mahorn on the basketball court. And by the way, as bad as that was, and he could have hurt that dude, it wasn't as bad as like the arm tackle thing that happened the Saturday before. I can't even remember the guy that did it, but remember the guy that like clotheslined one of the Texas players?
Yeah. The guy that hit it was it Weaver?
I think it was.
That got hit?
I've already blacked that out of my mind, but I remember it happening.
Yeah, that was bad.
And that guy got thrown out of the game, and it was like, oh, man, you're lucky a riot didn't start.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as that because the guy was in the air, whereas Brock ran into a guy who was level on the ground. It's just
right.
By definition, they're different. But kind of the same thing. When I saw it, I was like, all right, well, that's a flagrant 2. They're going to throw him out of the game. And they did. And I don't think anybody's really arguing about that. I think in real time, Texas fans were like, what's the big deal? He was just going for the ball. And it was like, no, watch the replay. You literally watch his body take a 78-degree turn in order for that contact to occur the way that it does.
Oh, yeah.
That was not 90 degrees. He turned it in. It was not a right triangle. He made a point to make it acute. Obtuse would have meant that they never contacted each other. Acute contact. And then Texas Tech went Texas Tech. And if you're a Texas administrator today, when Chris Del Conte woke up today, if his wife said, good morning, honey, and the first words out of Chris Del Conte, if his daughters were like, hey, Dad, we love you, we're going to school, and his first words out of his mouth were, we're not playing those motherfuckers ever again, it would have been completely justified. Completely. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what happened today. You know what happens? Texas Tech and their fans are always like, fuck Texas. They hate Texas.
They
Texas
chanted
Tech
it last night.
They got the chant going.
They got all kinds of chants happening in that building.
But you know who Texas Tech administrators are? Please, Texas.
Oh.
Pretty please. Please, please, please. Play us on Thanksgiving. Play us in September. Play us as a preseason game. Just tell people you're going to play us. You don't even have to. We could be your side piece that you never actually get seen in public with. Just can you tell us that you want to play us? That's what Texas administration is.
We'll be your Matt Damon. Put us on the schedule and then just say that we didn't get around to playing. That we don't care.
And if you're Texas, you realize last night why when we go to the SEC, we might play some in-state teams again. Rice.
UTA. UTSA.
All right? Rice.
Rio Grande Valley, obviously. Yeah.
Rice.
Some rice.
But you're not going to play Texas Tech. And one of the big reasons why is because why would you even concern yourself with that?
Right.
If I told you before the game, no details added, at some point in the game, a near riot is going to occur. And beer bottles and Dasani tortillas and all kinds of flasks, you name it, all kinds of things are going to be thrown from the stands onto the court, and that there's going to be a visual image on television of some tech dude getting arrested by 6 people and having to be carried out of the arena.
Dragging him up into the tunnel, up into the like. Yep.
By the way, you know what they never say about people who have to be dragged out of arenas by 6 police officers?
He must love Shakespeare.
You never hear them say, well, that guy went on to have a very spectacular life. I saw that and I thought to myself, I tried to, in my mind, think, what's that guy going to do as a career moving forward?
That guy's not the mayor? That guy's not the mayor in 3 years? You don't think?
Well, politician might be the one thing he can do.
Yeah.
Especially in Lubbock, if we're being completely honest. But leader of a Fortune 500 company? Probably not. Future administrator on any level? Probably not. Bouncer at a strip club? Maybe.
Yeah. By the way, Vivek, the answer is no here. It's embarrassing how Tech fans act. Do they realize their administration is begging us? No. That's not how they look at it. Ever.
But then we'll see stories come out of the Lubbock media about how Texas is ducking Texas Tech.
Right.
And that there was an agreement, but Texas hasn't lived up to the agreement and whatever. Texas Tech showed their ass last night. And look, so did Brock Cunningham. But you know what?
Right.
Brock Cunningham is like a WWE character. He really is. In fact,
That's it.
I wouldn't be mad at him if he became a WWE performer.
He's kind of Daniel Bryan from back in the day. That's kind of who he is.
And he embraces it.
The crowd loves him. He should just start doing this. Yeah.
He gets incredible pops. No matter where he is, he gets great pops. And walking out of the arena, giving them the double hook'ems into the air. Like, here's to you, Brock Cunningham. But if you're Texas and you're trying to think about your future, I'm not going to make a Chris Beard metaphor here, but Texas Tech just doesn't need to be somebody that you go out with. It's bad. It's bad for everybody. That was not good. You know, the only thing that was good about last night, Texas Tech had a sellout. Their fans were sleeping outside for 4 days trying to get tickets. But that was not good for Texas Tech last night. Prospective recruits, prospective students, people around the country, nobody looked at that and thought to themselves, hey, Chad, did you see that Texas Tech game last night? Yeah, no, it was wild. You want to go to Lubbock? We go hang out in Lubbock for a weekend? Hey, your son's looking for a place to go to school, right? Just send him to Lubbock. Last night, that looked awesome. No, It was embarrassing. And if you're Texas, you don't want to be associated with that type of embarrassment. Last night, Texas Tech did more for Texas in helping explain why they never go through that again than anything that they could really ever say. When lawmakers in a couple of years start doing lawmaker things and they hold some sort of session at the state capitol, and it's like, you know, Chris Del Conte's got to go sit before Texas lawmakers and explain why Texas isn't helping another Texas institution by playing them. All he has to say is, did you guys watch the basketball game that we last played? And it's as simple as that. Yep. It's as simple as that. Texas got its get out of jail card. It rarely happens. If anybody's ever been in a bad relationship where things just aren't working well, but everybody around you thinks you're really lucky to be with that person. So you're thinking to yourself, I really need to find somebody new. I need to start over. This isn't working out. It's kind of toxic. But all your friends are telling you, Sharon's just great. You are so lucky to have her. Every time you bring her over to the house, we just have the best time. How come you haven't proposed to that girl yet? And you're thinking to yourself, you guys have no idea. Y'all don't know. And then the last time that you ever go out with her, you take her over to your friend's house and she has a few beverages and she starts talking shit loudly. And by the end of it, they just want everybody to go home and the drama to be over. And then when you tell them, yeah, Sharon and I broke up, they're all like, oh, yeah, no, it makes total sense. Like, good for you. I was going to tell you that maybe it was a good idea. That's what last night was. Last night was the clean breakup in a bad relationship, and Texas doesn't have to worry about any of its friends moving forward asking about Sharon. How come Sharon isn't coming around the house anymore? Did you see what she did the last time we came over? Breaking stuff, cursing loudly, yelling at your kids. Someone had to be carted off by the police. No more.
Yeah, that is fair. We got buy or sell coming up here in just a couple minutes. Also, another comment about last night. We got some good chats coming in, and we have an interesting chat question for us here at House Divided that we have not really talked about. Maybe we
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
What the hell was the purpose of having Flavor Flav there?
About the same as having Flair.
No, the thing is, look.
That's what they thought. I mean, I'm giving you their logic. Their logic was they've had Ric Flair at events before, and he's an icon to them in a certain way, and they think Flavor Flav, I guess, is the same type of icon, so let's get some attention. So they paid him to show up.
Do we really think that Flavor Flav is an icon in Lubbock?
Oh, yes. Sorry, it was a no until you said in Lubbock. Yes. Yeah, of course. In Lubbock, Texas?
Look.
Yeah.
What is Flavor Flav known for? Really?
He's the hype man of Public Enemy.
Correct. What is the number one most famous song that Flavor Flav as a member of Public Enemy is known for?
Fight
the Power.
Okay.
He's known for wearing clocks. The thing is, Fight the Power came out 34 years ago.
Right.
Is he really an icon?
Again, the last two words of your question, you always talk about the last two words are everything. What were the last two words of that question?
I don't even remember.
In Lubbock were the last two words of your question.
Look, man, if Anwar Richardson's in the chat, I'm okay with Anwar coming onto the show to kind of explain this. But I've talked to Anwar when he's driven to Lubbock before. And he will call me about 3/4 of the way there and go, yeah, man, I don't know if I need to be getting out of the car. Like, let me get to Lubbock. Let me get in. Let me get out. Something about cotton fields. And like, he's a little queasy. But Anwar's been with us for 10 years. There's a queasiness about going in and out of Lubbock.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, Flavor Flav feels a bit dated. Look, when Texas brings, who have they had come in and do rap concerts in the last couple of years over at the Bevo Boulevard thing or whatever they call it? They'll bring them like Nelly.
Nelly and Big Boy come to mind.
When they bring in Nelly, I like Nelly. I have a lot of really positive feelings about Nelly over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But he does feel a bit dated. Like, even in 2024, Nelly feels dated to me.
Right. Say what you will. I mean, it was free admission.
Say what you want to about Nelly. He is from this century. Sure. Flavor Flav is from the early 90s.
Look, Catch, they thought they were, deep down, they thought they'd get the night they wanted. They'd get the moment they wanted, and he'd get to throw a yeah boy on the top of it. That's what they thought. It's just what they thought. And because he's rocking a clock, it is, it's time for a big win or whatever it was going to be. And he was going to do that laugh, and they thought they were going to be able to clown Texas with it. And it's just
not what they thought they were going to get versus what happened last night. If you're a Texas fan's quite glorious.
Yeah. And instead they ended up with the Public Enemy lyric of bass. How low can you go in Lubbock, Texas?
Buy or sell. You enjoyed Texas curb stomping Texas Tech last night. How many people in the chat are going to say buy? There's got to be, I've got to see more than this. There's got to be 1 million people who are going to be in this chat who are going to say, I am buying to that one. You liked it. Woo! You got knocked the what out? Don't you put that on my screen. Don't you put that on my screen. You enjoyed it. Because I think there's a certain part, and I'll be honest with you. I never really liked Texas Tech. To be honest with you. I don't say Texas Tech. I never really liked Lubbock as a city. I think I've had my issues with Lubbock. I think I've told y'all some of the stories. Some of you guys might know the stories. Someone's gonna go, oh no, they're gonna go. I'm gonna tell. Fine. But I can't assume that everybody's seen every one of my videos. But I'll tell you, the first time I went to Lubbock many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, something like that, right? I fly in on Southwest, all right, fly down, And I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, they have cotton fields here. I'm like, what? They have cotton field. I don't never seen a cotton field. I lived in Florida. I've never seen such a thing, right? And so when I went to the budget rent-a-car place, this is one of my favorite stories. I went to the budget rent-a-car place, went to get my car, and right where the budget rent-a-car place is it's off the what do you call it? It's not off campus, but it's not I don't know, off-site, right? There you go. They take a little shuttle, you're off-site. And they have all these cotton, they have this cotton out there. And I'm like, oh my God, I have never seen this thing. So I go over and I go there, like, I gotta take a picture. Like, and people are not gonna believe that I'm seeing real cotton fields in real life. Like, I'm just stuff you've seen in history. So I go and take a picture, right? And this dude goes to me, he sees me, he's across the way, he goes, hey, did you pick any of that cotton while you were out there? And my response was, no, we don't do that anymore. That was my first introduction to Lubbock. Right? And I was like, from that point on, I never missed feeling it. And then after that, then everything else has happened, right? And I really started, the things that happened with the Chris Beard situation and how they treated the Texas players and that threat that they had towards the Texas players, them needing the police to go do shoot around, like all that kind of stuff. I was like, man, I don't really like these people. So there's a part of me, I'll be honest with you, but I go into like why I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then I think Ketch put out a really good tweet. I think it was last night. He had mentioned something, but it's really Texas Tech. Texas Tech is like this school that when they're like, man, F Texas. Like, Texas ain't this and Texas ain't that. And then the same Texas Tech that turns around and says, hey, but would y'all mind playing us every single year? Man, if you don't get out of here with that, no, never again, ever. And forever again. Never. Put them in the rear view mirror. Never look back. No, this is that. So watching that last night, the history of Tech, the way they've acted over the past few years. Oh yeah, and that's right, Mark. Everything rolls through Lubbock. All that, I'm like, you know what? Y'all get what you deserve. So no, I'm 100%. Yeah, typically, I'm not supposed to enjoy those kind of things, but I did. I really, really,